We have currently 55 comments, and we have a 3-minute limit for all comments, which gives us approximately about 3 hours of testimony, and it's now 10 minutes after noon. So this is going to take us clear up until about 3 o'clock or 3:30, which is fine. We're here till 4. But I'd like to let you know we'll probably take a break, and maybe an hour and a half or so everybody takes a 5-minute, 10-minute break. But with that, I actually would like to just give you some rules so that it'll help you. We have 2 microphones here. We have a microphone here in the front, and we also have a microphone here, and we also have a wireless microphone for anyone who cannot get up to the microphone. Our court reporters are right here. They actually are positioned here in front because they need to hear your words. They want to be able to hear you clearly. So with that, if you don't mind, we'd really like you to speak into the microphone very clearly. It also helps our translators, and we do have people in the audience here today who have our transmitter receiver headsets on, and so the clearer that you can be into the microphone, it's better for our translators as well. So with that, I'd like to, and I'll call up 2 people at a time. Our first speaker is, I think it's M-A-R-E-L-L-Y, Mendoza, and then Margarita Sanchez. And before I forget, please make sure that you say your name very clearly because that actually goes into the record. Appreciate it. Before we just got a comment. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. No, you're fine. You're fine. It's not 3, it's 2 minutes, just so that we can make sure everybody gets in, because we have a bunch. Okay, go ahead. If you want to just give us just 30 seconds here, we got to redo the timer. Did I get your name correct? Okay, could you please let me know what your name is? Okay, thank you. Please, and let me have your correct name. I'm sorry if I didn't say that right. Okay, microphone, please.
Is it on?
Yeah, you're on. Okay, so what we have to do, you want to speak in Spanish? Okay, so what we have to do is we have to have someone who can speak with you in English as well, so the English people can hear. So, Bianca, if you don't mind, can you do that for me, please? Go ahead and just set the time. Okay, I just need to have you speak really, I can barely hear you. No, they can turn up the microphone. Go ahead.
Okay, it's good?
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, well, my name is Nareli Mendoza, and I've been living in this area for over 20 years. And I would like this tunnel project to be on, because I'm a witness of all the the traffic that gets in my area and around my area. And having this project, the tunnel, will reduce all that, especially the smoke that it gets into all the traffic. And with that, we get sick. I have a girl that she gets asthma since we're little. And it's part of that, especially where we live. And with that, it will give us a lot of peace of mind. It will also bring us a lot of work. And I'm sorry, because I brought it in English. We will bring us a lot of work. With that, you know, with the economic is not bad. If I know that. I'm a mother, a single mom of 4, and I know how that bad it is, having a job at home. This project, it will be a bless for all of us. All of us. Not doing anything is actually damages more. So we got to do it. We definitely have to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Margarita Sanchez and then Jeffrey Hernandez, please. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
For the last 50 years, we have been fighting and struggling to get all this pollution, the noise pollution, the diesel pollution, and the vibrations of the impact of all these freeways and systems in our community. To this date, neither the city nor the state has brought our community up to the standards of Pasadena. And you have the nerve to come over here at the last minute imposing projects on our community again without proper study period, with insane things like taking away our community businesses, without the time our people need to study the projects when these other rich cities have had years to study them. Again, it's racist. Again, it's because of our low income. You impose this on our community. This is a crime. You look at the sound walls and the air pollution in Pasadena and La Cañada and South Pasadena and all those areas. And you look at our area, and all we have is displacement and pollution and illnesses. Have you made a study on the cancer rates here, on the asthma rates, on what's been affected? Have you improved our areas to the level that's been improved in other areas before you come up with another TAP project? This is insane. The business as usual impacting on East LA, and it's a crime. And we don't want the project. We prefer a tunnel to the taking away our businesses.
Could you wrap up your comments, please?
No to the extension, no to the expansion, and no to exclusion of our community in the discussion with respect to what you guys do in our communities.
So thank you. Jeffrey Hernandez, thank you. So just a moment. Ketzel is next. So yes, go ahead, sir. Yeah, you're on. The microphone.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Jeffrey Hernandez.
Needs to be up.
teach.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
I teach at East LA College. I've lived alongside the 710 for over 17 years. My brother's been living there now. It's still living there over 10 years. And I can tell you that the impacts that we referred to are for real. And East LA, as we all know, has shared more, the burden, it's taken on more than its fair share. And what concerns me about the draft EIR is that that was not considered. There is no analysis of the pre-existing impacts and of the fact that the alternatives that were being looked at will compound the pre-existing impacts. In addition, erroneous assumptions were made about the alternatives. The fact that the light rail will destroy businesses and will create blight was not fully addressed. The fact that the bus rapid transit will take parking and harm businesses and a school drop-off zone was not adequately examined. The historical and current context is unjust, and I agree with many that it's only fair that others shoulder the burden, but not if that means even more harm to East LA. And the reality is the tonal alternatives will create more harm to East LA. Even with the deficient analysis in the EIR, it is clear that the tunnel will increase traffic volume on the 710. That's more traffic, particularly from trucks, from the ports, from the 710 South project. And if you close the gap with the tunnel, they're going to say, well, let's continue going up the 710 through East LA. More traffic means more emissions, and that means more of the negative health impacts, of the environmental impacts. Only the no-build option is adequate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. And then I'd like to ask Mr. Tony DeMarco to come up next. Thank you. Go right ahead. And I need your name, please.
My name is Quetzal Itzcoet. I'm a business owner of ELA. I'm located in the Belvedere district where the east side extension for the Gold Line was constructed. This morning I was prepared to back up the tunnel alternative because I felt that that was the only option viable for East LA, and it would seriously alleviate the current conditions. However, through talking to several people here, I realized that I am not well informed to make a decision on the tunnel. I do know that I don't want another light rail built in the neighborhood. If you look at the east side extension entrance through Indiana, you can see the devastation that the light rail creates. I was also thinking that a lot of these folks are here speak about the health of our children. If we think about it, I don't know if they're better informed than me, but the tunnel would create a lot more traffic with emissions, like the gentleman said, that would affect our community. Are we really prepared to have the next 5 generations being born in East LA, being born into a very polluted environment while the construction of any of these projects happen? And then thereafter, once the tunnel is constructed, all the trucks are going to come and impact our neighborhood. It also makes me wonder at the benefits that political institutions present in the room will gain from backing a building of the tunnel project. Like I heard that Lucille Roybal is backing up this project. Why is she backing it up? Does she live in East LA? Is she really aware of the situation that we are experiencing here with these projects that we are taking the brunt of for everybody else in LA County and other counties?
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate your applause, but let's, if you can, we've got to move people pretty quickly. Tony, you're coming up, and then if Lily Hernandez could come up next, please. Go right ahead, sir.
Hello, my name is Tony DeMarco. I'm the president of the Whittier Boulevard Merchant Association, which runs from the 710 freeway to Atlantic on Whittier Boulevard. I'm a landowner there and a business owner. This is my first public meeting that I've been to. I've been to a lot of other meetings in the last couple of years. I've at the meetings in the past, since 2012 or 13, I've stated this, and I want to go on record publicly, that I think this process has been flawed ever since you expanded either the zone or the scope or the area from Valley to encompass East Los Angeles. Once that happened, the powers to be should have backed up and allowed East Los Angeles as a community to be part of all of the 100 alternatives that were being discussed prior to us, prior to that decision making, that we should have been involved in the discussion of 100 alternatives instead of only being told that there were now only going to be 5 and it's a take it or leave it kind of an attitude. And with that information, I think the whole process is flawed right now. But as a business owner and part of the Whittier Boulevard Merchants, I am opposed to any sort of impact, any alternative or anything to disrupt business in this community. Light rail has been shown on 3rd Street to cripple all business, to cripple, and people just go, and business owners go out of business, landowners do not get rent.
Hard to hear.
Also, the Atlantic bus lane, or another alternative is taking away parking, and we're opposed to that. We are for getting it back, the discussion on the 710 where the problem is created, where it exists, where it originated.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Rudy Torres to come up next. Go right ahead and give us your name, please.
Hi, my name is Lily Hernandez. I was born in East LA. I've lived there my whole life. And going through the pages of the 3,000 some pages of your study, I noticed that there are no air quality monitors in East LA. You're going off of information off of San Gabriel Valley, which only has one freeway. We have the 16 to 710. Also, you know, we have also the traffic that's created by the goal line, as well as the overflow of the freeways that affects us, our air quality. And that has not been monitored, that has not been studied. And I don't know how you can do a study based on that information. There should be air quality monitors in East LA before you even put it on a study. Also, when I worked in Century City in 2004, it took me an hour and a half to go to Century City from East LA. In 2015, I take the Metro, I take the Red Line, I take the Go Line to Beverly Hills and back to East LA. It takes me 2.5 hours. I'm a commuter. I'm a lifetime commuter. I don't drive. But I see how the traffic within the streets is causing me as a commuter to be delayed. It's like it's not even relieving anything really. Because from 1 hour added from 2004 for my commute, and I'm taking the subway and the Go Line, it's not making a difference to me. Something needs to be fixed on the freeways. There needs to be a relief of the congestion of all of Los Angeles. And the thing is we at East LA have made a sacrifice easing the congestion. We have the 16 to 710. We've had the East LA interchange, and we've had the Go Line. We don't need another Go Line. We don't need another light rail on Mednick. We need jobs. We need progress. And this is going to hinder our way of life, our progress. And so I'm sorry, but I have to say the tunnel, because we need a relief of the overall congestion of Los Angeles.
Thank you. You know what? I really appreciate that, but if you guys could keep it down just a little bit, please. I mean, it's fine. I get it. I really do. It would be helpful. We just respectful of this person as well. Rudy, you're next, and then Luis Garcia, and then so go right ahead, sir.
Okay. My name is Rudy Torres. I'm a business owner and resident of East Los Angeles, and I'm here in support of this 710 tunnel, simply because it's the only long-lasting solution to the problems that were brought up by the study. And out of all of the solutions that were brought up, it's the only one that does not put undue burden onto East Los Angeles. The other thing is, it's not realistic to think that as our population continues to grow, our infrastructure should not grow right along with it. We should be able to support the services that we need. And finally, I'd like to say that with that tunnel, basically spreads the cost of the lifestyles that we're growing accustomed to. East LA should not bear that cost alone for the benefit of La Cañada or Pasadena or South Pasadena. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Luis Garcia Evans.
Can you put him on the stack? You stepped up for a moment. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. If someone could let him know his name was called, that would be helpful. Sandra Arias, and then Manuel Puerto.
Hello, yes. My name is Sandra Arias, A-R-I-A-S, and I'm here to, in behalf of my family that, In behalf of my family that own homes in Fisherton Fort, we oppose the light rail. We feel that the tunnel would do justice for our community, but no trucks. As you know, the 710 is the bloodline from all the trucks coming from the LA airport. And that's a lot of damaged chemicals all over in our community. As you know, I don't know, 2 weeks ago it came on LA Times that Los Angeles is impacted with a lot of pollution. And there's a study that many of the children now and the grown-ups have asthma and have complications with their lungs. So I oppose any trucks going to the tunnel, and aside from that, I oppose the light rail right here because we have our community center right here that we fought for a long time for the business people and Ron and the family to establish that. He did a survey and he said what was the needs of our community, and we stated what the needs of our community, and we have the needs of our community fulfilled by the family. And now my understanding when I read the map, going back to the map, you want to take out that center in order to put a station. And I feel that's an injustice to our community, that you would even think of destroying our family. Let me give you a timeline. We had the most beautiful park, Belvedere Park, in East Los Angeles in the 60s. It was cut up, and homes were taken out just to make the 60 freeway. Then they took out the 710, all the residents lived there. They took that out to make a freeway. Then you come in here and doing the Gold Line, and many of the business no longer exist. And then the construction, 5 years, that's ridiculous. 5 years, our community has to suffer? No, we oppose that you people stop destroying our community. Because that's exactly, you have no vision, we have vision for our community.
Could you wrap up your comment?
And so anyway, going back to what I said, the 710, the 60s, Belvedere Park was destroyed. Now you want to come and destroy our community. The community will not tolerate that. And I'm letting you know as a community advocate, we opposed it. And we want you to respect our community.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, come on. Yes, your name? Yes, Luis. Please come up. Then Manuel Huerta.
Okay, so my name is Luis Garcia y Ivans, and what I want to say is that this 710 freeway extension plans and all alternatives proposed by Metro are a form of low-intensity genocide and ethnic cleansing. Why do I say this? I say this because this transportation corridor extension cuts across East Los Angeles that has been populated by prior sovereign, Chicana, Chicano, Mexican-American, Mexican peoples since before the Anglo-Saxon colonizers arrived to this American continent. In addition, since the beginning of the plans of the 710 freeway extension, people have proposed a lot of alternative proposals that were totally ignored by Metro, and they have not been presented to the public today. And for those reasons, we are opposing these plans, and these plans have to be thrown into the trash and restart the whole process all over again, so that all those plans and proposals that have been presented by people that have been ignored cannot be ignored any longer. Thank you.
Thank you. Manuel, and then Agrippina Huerta. Go right ahead.
So my name is Manuel Huerta. I was born and raised in East LA. I'm currently a resident of East LA. As a matter of fact, this is my middle school, David Warker Middle School. We used to play in the orchestra here. Literally, had a great orchestra. But I just wanted to talk about the fact that I've been to 4 meetings altogether in the last 2 weeks or so. Didn't know that much about what was going on, so got quickly informed, even read parts of the EIR to catch up on what's happening. In those meetings, we've been talking about unity across different communities from Pasadena, South Pasadena, Alhambra, all the way through El Sereno and East LA, because that's the only way that we're going to get what we really need out here in the community. And we need to voice our concerns to Metro. So this is one way to do it, but we're also talking about unifying together. So we're not trying to pit one community against the next. It's important that we stay together. I just wanted to talk about specifically the LRT, the train that would go through Mendic is really flawed. That alternative would take out not just businesses, but other properties in the area. And it's going to really affect the Civic Center area of East LA. We've already got an above-grade LRT, an above-ground LRT, right? Which is the Gold Line, and it goes through there. The Gold Line already creates more traffic along 3rd. An LRT that would go up on Mednick, above ground and through Flora would create a lot more traffic through that area. But it's also going to limit access to, somebody just mentioned Belvedere Park. You know, it's the largest park in the area. It's going to make it a lot harder to access that park. The other thing too is that people have talked about the fact that we deserve a subway train. If anything were to happen here, we didn't get that through the Gold Line. We deserve something better than the flawed LRT plan that's being proposed. Also, building the train could also negatively impact some of the historic properties. I looked at the environmental impact, the draft impact report, and it doesn't even consider the Maravilla Handball Courts. That location is on the California Register of Historic Sites, and it's eligible for the National Register. So that's got to be looked at.
Could you wrap up your comments, please?
What we need out here is a health risks assessment and a health impact assessment. We had a meeting here in East LA where we had 3 health professionals, 1 medical doctor, 2 public health officials, and they talked about the fact that building the tunnel is not just going to affect the health of people that live right under it in Alhambra and Sereno, in those areas. It's also going to create more traffic here. We need to think about that.
Sir, I have a ton of folks who would like to finish. Could you wrap up?
I'm going to wrap up. The 710 is the most polluting freeway in LA. If you increase traffic by proportionally up there, it's going to increase traffic through our neighborhood here in the 710. So we need to think about that. There's already high rates of asthma, cardiovascular problems, and that's just going to make it worse. So what we want is a community alternative that we can come up with. And we already took some of the first steps by having a meeting in El Sereno with residents from East LA, South Pasadena, Alhambra.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And just a moment, Catalina Cajuela is next, but no, go ahead. Acapina, you're next. You're next. I'm sorry, say?
I would like to pass my turn of time to Hugo Garcia.
Well, we really typically don't do that. No, we don't do, and I'll tell you why. Because it's a legal record, and her name is on the speaker card. So legally, I have to have her comments. So you can sign in a speaker card, happy to do it, but she needs to speak. So go right ahead.
Okay. I only going to mention that I'm a resident of East Los Angeles from 1967. And voy a hablar mejor en español porque me siento más cómoda.
So if you're going to do that in Spanish, that's fine. But
okay.
I need to have someone who because I would like to have. So Bianca, could you assist, please? So just go right ahead, okay. And we'll get through your comments.
No estoy de acuerdo. Not in agreement. Por tanta contaminación que ya tenemos en el este de Los Ángeles.
Wait till she's finished, Bianca, then she can get there.
Yo estoy viviendo aquí por 50 años en el este de Los Ángeles.
She has lived here in East LA for 50 years.
Y tenemos muchas enfermedades de asma.
They have a high health risk, especially asthma.
También porque tienen el derecho, no tienen el derecho de quitarle los hogares a las personas mayores.
You don't have the right to take away homes from elderly people.
Tampoco a destruir las escuelas que van a estar cerca de este proyecto de construcción.
Or destroy the schools that are near the area of construction.
Esto es todo lo que yo tengo que decir.
That's all she has to say.
Estoy muy en contra de este proyecto.
She is very much against the project.
Porque se pueden poner más alternativas, por ejemplo, usar más los autobuses para no tener tanta contaminación.
Because there could be additional alternatives that could be used, such as buses, so that they don't have to do contamination with cars.
Y además, Pasadena no se conecta con nosotros, los residentes de Pasadena no se conectan con nosotros. Nosotros vamos para allá, pero a hacerle sus trabajos.
Go ahead.
She says that people in Pasadena, there is no connection with their residents or citizens, and on the contrary, we're going out there and doing jobs for them.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Our next speaker is Catalina Tajuelo and Dolores Mejia. Yes, go right ahead, and if you could say your name again, please.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Catalina Tajuelo y yo soy residente aquí del
If you're going to be speaking in Spanish, we're going to translate them to English, please. Thank you. Go right ahead. And can you speak into the microphone? Thank you.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. Yo vivo aquí en el este de Los Ángeles por los últimos 33 años y
She's lived here in East LA for 37 years.
Y yo creo que no es los proyectos que hay, tanto el rápido, el tren o el más rápido como el túnel, a mí me afecta, porque yo vivo junto al freeway y soy una persona mayor, yo no tengo para dónde botarme.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
She says that the projects that are currently in line, she's not in agreement with them, and she's an elderly person. She says she has no way of movement or how to get anywhere as an elderly person. Their services aren't available.
Okay, thank you.
Y todo lo que me preocupa a mí es la pollution que ya tenemos. Entonces, ¿quién se va a beneficiar? Solamente el transporte de pollution que va a haber del puerto, del aeropuerto, a la conexión del 210 y el 134. Entonces, nosotros solamente vamos a estar viviendo aquí en el ambiente horrible.
Okay.
Como yo sufriendo de asma, de
Okay,
alergias.
let her say. Thank you.
So she's worried about the pollution that's currently going on, not just here in East LA, but the pollution that comes in from airports, from other areas that are living here. So who's going to benefit from this really?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Dolores, and then Carla Medina. Thank you. Go right ahead. No, that's fine. Go right ahead.
Hello. My name is Dolores Mejia with Eastside Coalition Against Excite Toxic Technologies. I want to emphasize that because we're also opposing all toxic technologies. Our slogan when we shut down Excite Toxic Technologies was to expose and expel Excite. Our new slogan is to expose and expel the Metro Caltrans cartel.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Because of the fact that we were recently totally contaminated and terrorized by the toxic technologies at Excite. It is disgustingly, it is unscrupulous that Metro and Caltrans would come through our communities, especially East LA and El Sereno, who were one of the majorly impacted communities from the onslaught of arsenic and lead, which, by the way, according to this flyer that I received, I hope everybody reads it and looks at it, all the ill effects of lead and these toxic technologies, how it impacts our children, especially our most vulnerable will be our children, our students, and our elderly. You know, this is absurd, the fact that we recently were able to shut down Excite Toxic Technologies, and now you guys suddenly creep up over here and try to, try to exploit our communities and use the workers, use the working people that are desperate for income to come over here and to support your multi-million-dollar cartel agreement. So with the same energy and effort that we shut down Excite Toxic Technologies, we will shut down the Metro Caltrans cartel, believe you me. No to the expansion, no to the extension, and no to the exclusion of our communities in the conversation about what takes place in our barrios.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Carla Medina and then Mark Lopez, please. Carla, go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Carla Medina. I'm a resident of Pasadena, for 25 years. I commute from Pasadena to Cascade LA, and we need the extension for the tunnel. It's going to alleviate traffic. It's going to provide work. Show respect. I let you talk. Show respect. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I'd like to take this opportunity to let you know that we all have passionate desires, and as human beings, we're here to communicate those. We've offered up this opportunity to share all comments and opinions. But one thing we do ask is respect for one another in a public process that allows us all, as Americans and then people with voices, to speak on an item that is important. It is us at our best to allow people to have that voice. And to do it without fear, and to do it without angst, and to do it without other people with repercussions. So I would ask you to please just respect one another, and we'll get through this. We've got a lot of folks that really want to have a voice. Thank you. So you know, so I'm going to ask for respect for all people here today. So I'd like Mark Lopez to come up, and then Amanda Perez. Go right ahead, sir.
Hi, I'm Mark Lopez. I'm a resident of East LA. My family's been on the east side for 4 generations now. My family's been displaced twice because of freeways, the construction of the 5 freeway, and then also the East LA interchange. So we know these issues intimately. And I definitely want to recognize labor in the House. It's always good to see labor out and organized. You know, I'm assuming y'all got a PLA for this, right? Project labor agreement. If not, we need that. We need local hire, right? We need the most impacted communities to have these jobs, to have these benefits. So definitely with you on that. I think sometimes folks are a little quick to go down the line, you know, and there's maybe some bosses that influence that. But I think there's no legitimate beef here between those of y'all who are workers, who are from our communities, and those of us who aren't in the union, but are also community members here. We're not here to fight each other. So we can squash that. So I think where a lot of this anger comes from is that our communities have trying to figure out how not to cuss up here. Our communities have been screwed over for so long, right? Just mentioned some freeways. We're talking about the creation of the City of Commerce, ransacking a bunch of the industry of East LA. We're talking about Monterey Park stealing ELAC from East LA, right? There's a long history here, so there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of tension even with folks in Pasadena and folks down here. There's a long history of issues. So when you introduce something like the light rail so late in the process, when other folks have had decades, right? Decades in this process, and you throw the light rail on us so last minute, of course we're going to be pissed, right? Of course we're going to react. And part of the problem is now we're being reactionary, and we're saying pro-tunnel, even though we may not, I can't speak for everybody, but we may not all know exactly what that means, right?
Wrap up your comments, please.
Cool. So I think these institutions benefit when we fight each other, right? Because we provide cover for each other. If Pasadena gets screwed over, then East LA has their back, and if East LA gets screwed over, then Pasadena has their back, and all that sort of stuff, right? So we don't need that. And some of this is a mess, I think, from the previous administration, from the supervisor. So the project area is also flawed. It's like a little dip into East LA. That needs to be widened. I live along a north-south corridor that isn't included in the project area. I got it right here. So I think we need to, for East LA at least, we need to back up into the scoping, right? Not in the project selection. We're not ready for that. We need to back up to the scoping to be able to adequately inform the process, and the project area, I think, needs to be widened. Because this is bad for us. We don't need to be divided. We need to talk to each other, and we need to come together as communities to propose stuff to the institutions, because they're not here for us.
So I would like to ask Amanda Perez to come up, and then Jorge Ramirez.
Miss Amanda Perez just called me that she wasn't able to check the
Okay.
feedback for Mark Lopez to elaborate on
I can't.
alternatives. Yes, you can.
If Mark, no.
It's our meeting, it's a community meeting.
If he fills out a card, that I'm happy to do that. But I just can't. I can't do it right now. Go ahead and fill out the speaker card, and we'll be happy to have you come up.
We have it, Amanda Perez. I can talk to anybody else.
No, she can. It's fine. That's fine. You're happy to go. If you fill it out, that's great. Thank you. So Jorge Ramirez, and Hector Verdugo. Is Jorge here?
We appreciate everyone's passion that is going on in the room. This is a public hearing, and we want everyone to be heard. Please keep your verbal comments from the audience down. We cannot have you guys speaking up. This is a public hearing. It's not a community meeting. It's not an open house. We would like you to please let everyone have their chance to put their comments on the record.
We will. We don't like to be talked down to.
I'm not talking down to you, sir. I'm trying to get you to give the people who are speaking their respect.
No, we've got our time over here. We're putting in our time, and we live here.
Okay, Jorge. Is this Jorge? Oh, Hector. Is Jorge here? Jorge Ramirez? Yeah.
My concern is that those of us that live here have to wait hours while outsiders come in and testify. So in the future, if you're going to have a meeting...
No, that's not true. Let me be really clear. May I finish? So what I'd like to have you do, we have right now opportunities for people to speak right now. Today. Go right ahead. Actually, it's interrupting this gentleman.
It's okay, you can wait. Thank you, Ruth. Yeah, it's just two things, too. I also tried to log on, and because we have a cheap Wi-Fi signal, all my stuff was erased. So your contractor had to bring his phone in order to get a Wi-Fi. So not only did I have to retype everything, I still have to wait hours. So just like we do public comment in the county or the city, those who are for, those who are against, but the residents should have first say.
Well, okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So, Hector? Okay, thank you. And then go right ahead. And then after Hector is Brian Alexander Brown.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, so I'm a supporter of the tunnel. I'm here representing Local 300. And I want to give a shout out to the homeboy right there. Hey, good looking out, big dog. And I'm right here. I got a little nervous, man. So a little background about myself. I'm as close as it gets to a 710 freeway. I live right off of Valley, and I'm a big supporter of it. Oh man, I feel great to just walk outside in my jammies, my steel toe slippers, you know what I mean, and get straight to work. So, and let's see. So I'm a first level apprentice. I just joined, and I mean it's changed my life drastically since I've been with the union. You know what I mean? Just the opportunity to be somebody, you know, and just provide for myself and just do my thing, you know. The project's been keeping me busy. It's been keeping me productive, you know, a citizen, a good citizen for the city. And it also provides, you know, this project right here will also provide jobs for you know, for the other young men, you know, other young men and women. And I urge you to support, man, and thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. Brian? Ask Brian, Mr. Brown, just a moment. So Brian Alexander, that's you, and then Marla Cordova is next. So go right ahead.
Thank you. My name is Brian Alexander Brown. Me and my family have lived here for generations and generations. My grandfather actually used to commute from here to Huntington Beach and always wanted the 710 to go through because of the traveling that he had to do through the streets, the commuting and all that. Sometimes it was hard to be able to provide for the family. That will make it better for the family. To be able to make it a faster commute, there's always going to be cars on the road that need to be able to move faster. That's needed. Jobs are needed. Actually, if I wasn't working for this, I would still want that because it's needed. I live in Pasadena. I'm a Pasadena resident. Everybody needs to come together and make this happen because the future won't get no better if we don't make a change now. That's the facts here. We can complain, we can talk about what's going on and what it isn't and what it is, but what's action has been chosen, then we will get this done. The tunnel is the best action. The light rail isn't it. We already have so much of that spread out so far. You still have to commute once you go there. You have to commute from the commute. That's not what we need. We need to go straight there. And that's exactly what I wanted to say, and thank you very much.
Thank you. That's Marla Cordova. Is it Marla? Oh, Maria. Oh, sorry. And Maria Brenes, too. But your last name is Cordova. Yeah, to the right of it. Yes. Okay, thank you, Thelma. Yes, go right ahead. And your name is... And Thelma? Thelma, her name as well, please.
Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es María Córdoba.
My name is María Córdoba.
Tengo 25 años viviendo en el este de Los Ángeles.
I've been living 25 years in LA.
Y he tenido negocio por más de 25 años aquí en el este de Los Ángeles.
And I also had a business in East LA for about 25 years.
Y yo no apoyo el tren rápido, ligero que le llaman, que va a pasar por Medic.
And I do not support the LRT.
Por la razón es que yo quiero que cada uno de ustedes se ponga a pensar.
I want each one of you to think.
Lo que siente el dueño del negocio que quieren tumbarle, quieren destrozarle.
What each business owners, the ones that are affected when they take away their business.
Can you speak up just a little bit? It's very hard to hear. Yeah.
Sorry. I want you to think about the feelings of each business owner who's going to lose his or her business, who's being affected by the LRT, the light rail.
Los trabajadores que tiene cada negocio tienen familia.
And each employee from each one of those businesses, they have families.
También otra de las razones es que al hacer este proyecto se va a ver afectada la salud de los niños, de toda la
I'm also concerned, and that's another reason that the children are going to be affected, their health is going to be affected by the construction of the LRT.
Muchas personas están pidiendo un estudio de salud.
A lot of people are asking for a study on health issues because of it.
Y es lógico,
and it's logical,
que no lo necesitamos porque lo estamos viendo. Estamos rodeados de freeway. Es lógico que ya está en ese problema.
Oh, it's logical that we already see the sicknesses and the health issues, risks that are going on.
And Thelma, you get one. We're going to give you an extra minute because of the translation, so keep going.
Sí, yo me informé que ya tumbaron una iglesia para hacer el Freeway 5.
I was informed that they already took away a church to do the Freeway 5.
Por eso ahora quiero que respeten nuestra voz aquí en el este de Los Ángeles.
I would like you to please respect our voice here in East LA.
Ya no es el mismo este de Los Ángeles que ustedes conocieron en el pasado.
It's not the same East LA that you know of from the past years.
Y no queremos confrontaciones que se están provocando.
We don't want confrontations that are already happening
con otras ciudades,
with other cities.
Queremos estar bien todos unidos, trabajar unidos.
We want to work united, we want to be united and work together.
Y queremos tener un buen diálogo.
We we want to have a good dialogue. That's all I
Thank
have to
you.
say.
Thank you. So then our next speaker is Maria Brenes, and the next speaker is Rosa Amazquia. Maria? Yes, go right ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Brenes. I am the executive director of a nonprofit in the area here in East LA. I'm also a resident homeowner of El Sereno. And my most important role is that I am a mom of a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I am very concerned about the tunnel alternatives because from looking at the plans, I see that it doesn't address the reduction of traffic and congestion that currently exists near to my neighborhood, where the tunnel would potentially begin. I'm concerned because the tunnel would bring more traffic, more congestion, closer to what is a very peaceful, a very good neighborhood with many children, and close to a park that my kids use on a daily basis, and many children in my community use on a daily basis. And so bringing more congestion, more traffic near to an area where children play and live would only impact and put them at risk for health concerns, health issues, because the quality of air would worsen. So if this disproportionately impacts El Sereno, a specific area of El Sereno where children are concentrated. And I would like to support a proposal that increases public transportation, makes our streets safer, makes traffic easier to maneuver in, increases green space, and makes it easier for pedestrians to get around safely and bikers to get around safely. You know, in my own travel, I work in East LA, I drop off my kids in schools nearby, and I go shopping and to the doctor nearby. You know, a tunnel would not improve the quality of life of my family. I do support creating more jobs. I think the ideas I listed out would do that. I think that's something to also take into account. I do support that as a resident.
Could you wrap up your comments, please?
Yes, but just again, please take El Sereno into account and make sure our ideas, our concerns are included this time around. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosa, and then Timothy Williams. Rosa?
Yes, good morning. My name is Rosa Amavisca. I've been a volunteer of East LA for 20 years. And I think this thing that they want to do, I think that's one of the worst things, because I've been very sick for since I was born, because I've been living in the United States, in East LA for so many years, very close to the freeways. And I have chronic bronchitis thanks to that. And I think if they do this tunnel, it's going to be one of the worst things. Why? Because there's a lot of people, a lot of children, and especially a lot of seniors that live in East LA, and we have to think of them, because we need to think that they need to live more. We don't want them dead. We want our children to be alive and with less disabilities, especially the chronic disabilities, which is bronchitis, asthma, and many disabilities that they have that they can't breathe. We need to really think of the children and the adults in East LA. That is my conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Timothy Williams, and then Rachel Vermillion. Okay, is Timothy here? Tim Williams? Just a moment. Are you Rachel? Yes, just a moment. Just a moment.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es Trinidad Gómez.
My name is Trinidad Gomez.
Yo lo que quiero decir
I want to say
es que estamos aquí rodeados de escuelas y de guarderías de niños.
we are surrounded by a lot of schools and childcare.
Yo aquí tengo como 55 años alrededor de aquí del este de Los Ángeles.
I've been living here for about 55 years.
Me preocupa la salud de los niños porque pues yo ya estoy como que viviendo horas extras.
I'm worried about the health of the children. I'm already living extra hours.
Pero en vez de preocuparse por poner un freeway o un túnel, ¿por qué no se preocupan de ver todos los jóvenes que andan sin trabajo en la calle? Que es una tristeza.
Instead of worrying about building a tunnel, why don't you worry about all the young people who are up there without jobs, which is sad.
Poner unos negocios aquí para que la gente, para que los jóvenes tengan trabajos.
Businesses here so that young people can have jobs.
Y luego también yo uso mucho los basecitos del sol y están muy seguidos están quebrados, que pongan unos bases con 2 puertas.
I use the buses from el sol and they are broken all the time.
Y si es posible, un bus como el Silver que va al bote, que nomás hay 2 paradas y no un tren.
If possible, you should put a bus like the silver bus that only has 2 stops instead of putting a train.
Yo quisiera que honestamente se pongan la mano en el corazón y lo hagan con justicia.
I want you to put your hands in your heart and do justice.
No haga contrariedades, divisiones, porque somos todos aquí. La mayoría somos mexicanos, aunque sean nacidos aquí como mi familia, ¿verdad? Y lo demás, pero somos mexicanos.
We don't want divisions and
Speak
we
up.
don't want any divisions. We are Mexican, although we were born here.
Yo no tengo negocio, pero voy mucho a las tiendas y
I
eso.
don't have any business here, but I go to the stores all the time.
Y hay iglesias y pues que no destruyan ni iglesias ni escuelas.
Don't destroy any churches or schools.
Después de que está todo, el mundo lo tenemos muy mal porque hay mucha delincuencia, mucho matazón y todo. Y con esto, que sí.
There's a lot of delinquency, the world is upside down, and with this,
Espero que tomen en cuenta
I hope that you take into account.
nuestras firmas y no las tiren al bote de la basura. Firmas que firma uno por venir aquí presente. Porque yo no estoy contra nadie ni contra de los de Pasadena, pero si hay dinero allá, que nos echen dinero para acá los pobres para que estemos más adelantados. Yo soy una señora que mi tiempo está muy ocupado. Hago obras de teatro, voy a estudiar como 3 veces por semana, ejercicios, y mucha gente me cataloga por loca y digo, yes, pero vale más loca y no son, ¿saben? Porque de locos hay manicomio y hay clínicas, y de tarugos no hay. Gracias.
She think a lot of people tell her that she's loca, crazy, but she's not.
Thelma, go ahead and finish. Did you finish? Okay. Say again? Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry, you're pardon? Oh, okay, great, thank you. And then after Timothy, after you, Ron Mackay is next. Go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Timothy Williams. I attended Garfield High School. I'm 16 years old. And
Speak a little louder, please.
I'm 16 years old. Can I get told?
You're fine.
And I play football, and I haven't really looked a lot into it. However, my aunt introduced me into this whole situation that's happening, and I have asthma, and personally the fumes is not good for my lungs, and it makes it even harder for football, especially because it's so hot and dry. And I don't think that we should do this, especially how the goal line started. I was very young, however, it made a big impact on East LA because we're a community that pretty much comes together, and it's not that we're afraid of change, it's just, it's not what's needed. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have 2 more speakers. Oh.
My name is Rachel Vermillion, and I'm from East LA, and I'm here to oppose the no build as a result of, first of all, I'd just like to say that when they calculated, I talked to a gentleman from Caltrans outside right now, and when they calculated and studied, they did not calculate south from 3rd Street and Eastern, south, which goes south to Whittier Boulevard, south in that area, Sydney, Berger, Eagle. I live on Humphreys. And as a result, I get vibrations. I live on Humphreys. I have twins, a guardianship of twins, but I've had them for 14 years, so they're mine. And they have asthma. And I have a grandson that has asthma, and he has autism tendency. I want to show you medicines. Also, this is like apple cider vinegar, known to cure asthma, hay fevers, pollen. I mean, I don't know if you know what one inhaler costs per month is $65. We have senior citizens. Do you know what it costs for a senior citizen that is sick, that taxpayers have to pay? They have to pay for cancer, all these different illnesses. And I believe the 710 going south on the 710 will affect us. From the trucks going north into the tunnel, it's a school there, Perez School, that has children with special needs that have disabilities, that have therapy there. There's Humphreys Elementary, there's Ford Elementary. These are children of our future. I'm 60 years old. I'm not going to be here. But our children and our grandchildren, we have this little boy, Matthew. They live next to, on Eagle, less than 50 yards, less than 20 yards from the freeway.
Rachel, could you
He's in the wheelchair.
Let her finish.
They didn't do studies south. I understand, I believe in change, I believe in the union. But did they promise you a job if they say no to the tunnel and they move it, east? I know there's favors, but please, these are people. We're people. And we just do the right thing for the right reasons.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have 2 more speakers here. Ron Mackay, and then Martha Sandoval Hernandez. Ron is first, and then Martha. Is Ron? Very good. Thanks, Ron. Then Martha, and then Deborah Scott.
Hi, folks. My name is Ron Mukai, and I represent myself, but I also represent my grandparents and my parents. We've been in East LA since the 1920s. I also represent everybody in East LA who helped my family, from the folks that, my grandparents had a market on Mednick and 3rd and Kern before they cut Mednick. My dad and my uncle owned Atomic Insecticide right there on Mednick, where many of you guys, if you had cucarachas, you went there. And my brother, who had to go to work, he runs Atomic Insecticide now. We built that shopping center where there's a coffee bean, okay? I've been fundamentally involved with the MTA as part of their resident advisory thing since the gold mine. And I don't believe in this process. I feel like I have an opinion to talk about this, and the process is fundamentally flawed. Even Diana Tarango, who was the head of the RAC for the gold mine, said above ground light rail is a fundamentally bad idea. Okay? Also, character matters, and the MTA has lied to me personally. I found out that they were going to take my shopping center for this new project, for this new light rail proposed, after I talked to them for 2 years, and they told me to my face there would be no property taken. That makes them liars, folks. okay? I don't understand technicalities, but I understand getting screwed, and we are all getting screwed. This is not just about me and my family. This is about everybody in East LA who's getting taken advantage of, and they're telling us things that are fundamentally untrue, okay? A couple notes because I can get carried away here. The MTA did no meaningful outreach. When they had 100 options, nobody came to East LA and told us about the 100 options. When they whittled those 100 options down to 5 options, they still didn't come and talk to us. We went to Monterey Park and found out after somebody ratted them out. Then, after we include ourselves in the process, they do anemic outreach. You know why? Because many of my friends in this room are stakeholders and nobody came to them. We came to the MTA, nobody came to them. And they say they did outreach here with their fancy charts. That's fundamentally untrue.
Mr. Mukai, could you wrap up your comments?
Oh my God. Construction impacts. The handball court will fall down. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, okay? In regards to environmental justice impacts, if we lose all those businesses, those are people, those are jobs, those are lives. Free Wi-Fi at Coffee Bean. It may not seem like a big deal if you have 100 places with free Wi-Fi around you, but where in East LA can you go get free Wi-Fi? What do we do about it, guys? We're already mad. Now we get organized, we fight. Let's let the MTA know we're in a fight. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Marta Hernandez. I'm a lone resident of East Los Angeles. I'm an activist. I've been in the I-710 expansion fighting for you since 2002 for air quality, all the level to the Capitol. You don't know, but I do it for you guys because I love you. Now, I want you to understand and open your eyes. Don't let people convince you for something else, because the people that don't care for East Los Angeles, they're gonna tell you something else. But you gotta think, you live here. The air is contaminated. It's not managers in East Los Angeles because there's no public knowledge about it. They're in San Gabriel, 15 miles away. The only way that we could relieve the traffic in East Los Angeles is the tunnel. The tunnel. You know, because where else are gonna go? You know, if you say no to the tunnel, you're gonna have them around you, and then we're still gonna get contaminated in your kids. I have asthma, my daughter has asthma, my grandson has asthma. Look, the governor in the past, together with Caltrans and Metro, violated our human rights. Look what you have done to us. I created a nation of sick people. Instead of thinking of making more projects through East Los Angeles, you should start thinking of giving us some medical relief, economical relief. You should start putting free clinics, like I always have said to Caltrans before when I meet to them through all these years. I'm for you, you're my people, I love you. The tunnel is the best option for us because the freeways, they need to be relieved someplace. Pasadena for 16 years have privilege and now seen the 710 surface. So they don't want a tunnel. You know why? They don't want to get sick. Wake up. But we are already sick and we're going to get more sick. And whatever decision you make right now, we're going to have to live with it right here. Not over there, not in the city. Wake up. No other city cares for nobody but themselves. It's about us. They care for ourselves, for our families, for our kids. We're having kids with learning disabilities because the impact of the freeways, the studies have said 15 miles away you are impacted.
Thank you.
Yes.
So
say yes to the tunnel.
Thank you. We have an announcement to make. There's been a shuttle going back from Santa Maria.
Yeah, so if you took the shuttle here from Central Maravilla for the DACA DAPA event, it's going to be leaving at 1:30. If you anticipate being here after 1:30, just come see me. My name is Keandra Dodds, and we want to make sure you can get back to your car at Central Maravilla.
Thank you very much. Two things. Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Si alguno de ustedes vino en el shuttle que de Centro Maravilla para acá, va a salir a la 1:30, pero si ustedes quieren quedarse, pueden hablar con Keandra al terminar la reunión para asegurarse de que puedan regresar a Centro Maravilla. Gracias.
Great, thank you very much. I'd like to invite Dr. Tom Williams to come up. And then I'd like to invite Deborah Scott next. Tilt it up. Thank you.
Can everybody hear me now? Okay. Okay. Dr. Tom Williams, previously LA 32 Neighborhood Council, 30-year owner-occupant of El Sereno. I know the area. I've only been fighting on 710 since 1991. Yeah, recent. Basics. I also am a member of the Sierra Club, and we recently, like on Wednesday, voted to oppose all of the 710 alternatives as they are stated now, because there's a lot of other alternatives that were not included, and let's say for about $4 billion rather than the $7 to $10 billion for the tunnel. There's also a matter, you don't get jobs from a tunnel boring machine. I've worked on them. There's maybe half of the people don't even come from the area because you're not trained to operate a tunnel boring machine. They're very different. 8,000 tons each. Okay, so we're putting together an alternative, and we will submit it as part of the comments to this. I call it Transmode, and it will provide a lot more jobs in the next 5 years rather than in the next 20 years. Yeah. It also includes bus rapid transit, but not the way that they did, because they composed a bus rapid transit system and an LRT, light rail transit system, which was almost purposely made so that it would alienate the communities. Unfortunately, El Sereno is in between, so we get hammered by everybody. So we're going to lose maybe 300 jobs, potential jobs, at Griffles. We're kind of concerned about that. So we're against Sierra Club, and most of El Sereno are against the tunnel. They're against the LRT, BRT as they are composed now, and they are for the people. Like on Thursday night, we composed a new plan.
Dr. Williams, can you wrap up your comments, please?
I will. So we're against the 710 as it is provided to us in the EIR, and we will oppose it after the ROD is signed, as we did the last time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to invite Deborah Scott to come up, and then Carmen Gonzalez, please. Deborah Scott. And Carmen Gonzalez. Thank you. I don't think Deborah's here. Okay. Go right ahead, Carmen. And then just a moment. Clara Solis.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carmen Gonzalez. I have lived in East Los Angeles for the past 38 years. I live right close to Mednick, where they want to build the light rail. And I just came here to say it's not a good idea to build a light rail there. First of all, the business, the one that we have there in Mednick and 3rd, if you put there the station, is going to disappear. Those businesses that we fought to bring them there, and then the people that are working there are going to be out of a job. Now the light rail on Mednick is going to be in front, or in other words, it's going to be the school that it's going to open in September. That's the KIPP school. It's going to be close, right next to the light rail. Not only that, we have the park, and we have senior citizens apartment right in front of it. And I just think that that's not a good idea because of the pollution, the noise, the safety. And that will be very bad because it's going to reduce our lanes. Instead of having 4 lanes, we're going to have 2 lanes on each side. There's a lot of traffic there because we have actually this school also that is going to affect the traffic. And the buses in Atlantic Boulevard, it's a bad idea. I go over there almost every single day. It's always full of cars, and reducing the lanes from one side where the people go and park there for the businesses, they're not going to have any parking space. So that means no people going there because they're not going to have any place to park. So I really don't like that proposals of the buses and the light rail. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Clara, and then Jimmy Rivera. Go ahead. And Clara, could you please give us your name as well? Thank you.
Clara Solis, former Griffith Middle School. I was in the orchestra too. It's good to be back here. I have spoke against the light rail project before. I am opposed now to all the build alternatives. I think this whole project should be thrown out, and the community should get a chance, the East LA community, to participate in creating a community plan. For decades, East LA has been the dumping ground for everyone else's unwanted projects. For decades, we have been lied to and told these projects won't harm us. But what they have brought us is pollution, noise, and traffic, which destroy our health and make our children sick. Has anything changed? Here we are again, being asked to sacrifice for the greater good. And once again, we are being misled. Look at this sheet. I handed it out to a lot of you. Yes. The way the EIR is written, it makes you think that only two alternatives are going to impact East LA. The light rail and the bus rapid transit. That's false. The freeway tunnel options impact East LA tremendously. Take a look at the segment from Cesar Chavez to the 3rd Street on-ramp. You will see that traffic for the dual-bore options increased traffic by over 900 vehicles per hour in a community that is already impacted by pollution and traffic. When the freeway gets that crowded, cars exit the freeway. But was that studied? Were the intersections by the 710 studied? No. Only 7 intersections in East LA were studied. None by the 710. Now turn your sheet around and take a look at the incremental cancer risk for the 4 options with trucks. Green does not mean good. It means an increase in cancer risk over the no build. And yellow is even worse.
Could you please wrap up your comments, please?
Now this increase in cancer risk and increase in traffic is already on top of some really bad air and traffic in East LA. East Los Angeles is being impacted by 2 projects. The 710 Corridor Project, which runs from the south, and the North Project. The South Project increases traffic and pollution tremendously. So now with this project, we have 2 projects that are going to increase pollution and traffic. And were they studied in East LA? They were not. In fact, no air pollution studies were done for East LA. The only studies were regional.
We'd like to have other people have a chance to speak.
For East LA, the health risk assessment is a joke. Hardly any of East LA along the 710 was studied at all. Even though traffic increases in East LA, the health risk assessment ends at the study border, only studying half of East LA. Is that fair? Is this environmental justice? Why is East LA broken into 2 projects, with each project only studying half of East LA? That means that the impacts to East LA are being cut in half. I demand environmental justice for this community.
Before we start, so Jimmy Rivera and then Norma Gayton. And sincerely, I don't mind having people have a voice. We have at least 16 more, we have at least 3 more hours. And some people are indicating that they would like to be able to go home. So if we can respect each other, that'd be really helpful to stay within our time limit. Thank you. So go right ahead, Jimmy. And then we have Norma. Norma? Go ahead.
My name is Jimmy Rivera.
Jimmy. Jimmy, go ahead, Jimmy.
My name is Jimmy Rivera. I live right here in Maravilla Housing. My family's been here for ages. We don't need all this transit coming through. They want to do it on Mendic. I live on Mendic. I live across the street from the Maravilla Handball Court. I represent Maravilla. We all stick together. If you see this sign here, this says it all. Don't railroad East LA. That's what it should be. We should all stick together. And that's the way I agree. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay. Norma Gayton, and then I'd like to invite Jose Murga, please. Hi.
My name is Norma Gayton. I was born and raised in East LA, and I am against
Can you
the
speak? I'm sorry. Can you speak just a little closer to the microphone, please?
Okay. Hi, my name is Norma Gayton. I was born and raised in East LA. I am against the tunnel. It doesn't benefit East LA. This project will bring more air pollution and make the air quality worse. And it's also going to provoke more accidents and deaths. I live on the Eastern and Cesar Chavez, and there's many out there in the street there's many drivers that are they don't even drive professional. They don't even know how to drive, and this tunnel is going to provoke more accidents and deaths in the future. It's also going to affect our children's health in the future with this construction of a tunnel. Thank you.
Thank you. Just before you start, I'd like to do two things. I'd like to invite David Ibarra up, and if you folks are having conversations, we can maybe take it into the lobby in the back. Thank you. Jose, go right ahead.
My name is Jose Murga, 33 years old.
Could you speak into the mic a little closer? Just step closer. That's great. Thank you.
My name is Jose Murga. I'm 33 years old. I was raised and I was born and raised here in East LA, and I still live here in East LA. The 710 is always packed. To get to anywhere you want to get, you have to leave an hour before, 2 hours before. And with this expansion, I think we could get there faster and be more productive, more spend time with the family a little bit more. That's it.
Okay, thank you. David, Genesis Coronado is next. Go right ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is David Ibarra. My family has been living in this neighborhood since 1914. We have seen this neighborhood progressively get better. We remember the junkyards. I don't know if many of you remember the junkyards on Ford Boulevard and First Street. Oh, yeah. The businesses on 3rd and Mednick have not only added beauty to the community, but have also contributed much needed revenue and the bonding of neighbors that a community so desperately needs. I am against the building of an elevated light rail transit, as it will destroy the relationships that us neighbors have developed by attending these businesses. And by the way, I use a laundromat at this location quite a bit. I prefer a synchronization of traffic lights to make traffic flow faster. If we could send a man to the moon and to Mars, I don't know why we can't synchronize our lights. But if all else fails, and you're not going to give us what we want, give us a tunnel. No different than the residential salt factory now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to invite Genesis Coronado to come up, and then Alex Guerrero is next. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, community members, stakeholders, Caltrans, and Metro staff. My name is Genesis Coronado, and I'm a field deputy for Congresswoman Lucero Ballard, who represents the 40th Congressional District, which includes the unincorporated areas of East Los Angeles, the cities of Bell Gardens, Commerce, Cudahy, Downey, Huntington Park, Maywood, Paramount, Vernon, and the northern half of Bellflower and the Florence-Firestone region. As many of you know, this is a very important issue for the Congresswoman, and while she really wanted to be here to provide her statement in person, her congressional duties require that she remain in Washington, D.C. today. However, she asked that I communicate her regrets and that I read the following statement on her behalf. Her statement reads, "The goal of the State Route 710 North study is to address a nearly 60-year delay in completing this freeway. The unfinished SR 710 creates traffic jams, pollution, and an overall unhealthy environment, resulting in a lesser quality of life for the surrounding communities. The proposed light rail route is an unacceptable alternative. It is one more example of the environmental racism with which East LA and Southeast citizens are only too familiar. While the light rail is being proposed under the guise of a regional solution, the fact is, it is nothing more than an irresponsible and unconscionable response to the more influential areas opposing the logical completion of the 710 freeway. That's right. The light rail does not solve the real problem of the 710 gap, nor will it reduce transportation congestion on the surrounding residential streets. It will, however, further divide and negatively impact East LA neighborhoods in the same way Boyle Heights, where I was born and raised, was divided and damaged by the building of the freeways. Furthermore, the light rail project will require destroying East LA's newest economic development project, a business plaza that is home to 15 businesses and 155 jobs, destroying these thriving businesses and eliminating jobs in a community that continues to suffer from unemployment that is higher than both the state and national levels is totally unacceptable. I have fought for environmental justice my entire political career. Unfortunately, this light rail alternative is one more example of a minority community being sacrificed to appease more affluent neighborhoods. This is highlighted by the fact that the proposed light rail does nothing to address the real issue of an incomplete 710, and commuter traffic is dumped onto our city streets. Further evidence is that the proposed light rail is elevated in the East LA area but goes underground once it leaves East LA. Of the 5 alternatives presented to us in the draft DEIR, the freeway tunnel is the only alternative that meets the stated goal of improving the efficiency of the existing regional freeway and transit networks. It is also the only alternative that provides a seamless transportation route for commuters on the 710 corridor. It is long past the time to do the responsible thing and close the 710 gap. Thank you.
Thank you. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to take a short break. We started 2.5 hours ago, so it's 1:30. And they've asked us, the court reporters have asked us to take a 5 to 10 minute break.
You ready? Okay, go ahead. You go ahead. We are now supporting the interests of our community in our struggle with Caltrans related to the 710 draft DEIR. We believe that the community ought to have a say in transportation-related projects that affect our community because nobody will look after our interests better than ourselves. That is why we had a very successful community meeting this past Thursday in El Sereno to discuss the EIR and receive direction from the community and our supporters in developing our community-based transportation alternative. As it relates to the community of East Los Angeles, the El Sereno Organizing Committee stands firmly and resolutely in support of our hermanas and hermanos from East LA in crafting their own transportation alternatives that would best serve their community. We respectfully ask that East LA stand in solidarity with El Sereno and reject all alternatives contained in the EIR, including the tunnel. Nobody has mentioned the costs associated with tolls, which is a financial barrier to working class families. Let me be very clear, the community of El Sereno is in firm opposition to any of the alternatives contained in the EIR. Thus, El Sereno rejects the EIR. El Sereno supports the community in crafting transportation alternatives that would actually be in the community's interest and that make sense from a regional mobility standpoint. Another major issue is that the EIR fails to address the many air quality impacts on the project's affected communities. Respiratory and cardiovascular issues such as childhood asthma, heart attacks, low birth weight, decreased IQ, dementia, lung cancer, and diabetes are only some of the negative effects of increased pollution that this project would unleash upon our respective communities. And if you don't have to believe me because I'm not a medical expert, but talk to the doctors and organizations from the USC Keck School of Medicine, and they'll tell you the same thing. So we believe if we work together as communities and not be fighting each other, we support jobs, we support the unions, but you know what? Even building an alternative program will provide jobs for the unions. We don't have to have, you don't have to go for the tunnel. That's just an option.
Can you wrap up, please?
I will.
Then Yolanda. Your name, please. Thank you. Yes, go right ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Pastor Omar Perich, and I pastor a church called Victory Outreach in the Los Angeles area. I've been born and raised in East Los Angeles my entire life, and I stand here on behalf of and in favor of the tunnel. And the reason why is I want to tell you something. This country has been built by visionaries, the United States of America. It's been built on three things. Number one, it's been built on sacrifice. And a lot of the issues that we're talking about, it takes sacrifice. It interrupts our comfort zone. The second thing this country's been built on is progress. We're basically, by saying no to this tunnel, we're saying no to progress. We're saying no to the future. And lastly, we've been built on visionaries, people that had a vision. We're not doing something that's going to affect now, but we're doing something that's going to affect our children and our children's children. We have to think about the future. I heard one of the major concerns that people were talking about is their health. But the fact of the matter is that these cars are going to be traveling through a tunnel that's built in with the state-of-the-art filtration system. So these fumes that everyone's concerned about, these things are going to be filtered. Now, this is also going to provide jobs over a 7-year span for 40,000 people. And there's a higher mandate. These same people that are out of jobs in this low-income area, these same people that need work, this is going to provide a means for them to feed their families, for them to make a difference in their home, for them to be able to put a roof over their family's head. I say yes to the future. I say yes to progress. I say yes to the tunnel.
We'll keep going. I've got a couple of additional announcements. Also, I would like to ask everybody here in the auditorium that when someone's speaking is to refrain from comments. That would be helpful. Thank you. Yolanda is next. And then I think it's Granita Promise. Go right ahead, Yolanda.
My name is Yolanda Duarte, and there are a few things that I'd like to address. First and foremost, Metro's corporate culture and public outreach efforts to date are contradictory to its request for public comments and community input. You failed to include us from the beginning. Your reports and literature demonstrate a real lack of intent to expand the knowledge base of the community, specifically East LA, the most negatively impacted by this project. Your EIR does not include any of the data from USC Environmental Health Center's research that concludes who is most affected by living near busy roads and traffic and pollution that all of these alternatives will cause. We asked our supervisor for assistance, and in this short time, she and her staff have provided at least 5 additional opportunities for us to come together to learn more about what these options mean for us. They all confirm that the health and safety of our community is definitely in peril, and that the traffic and pollution rates are going to increase. We need aggressive, comprehensive, and integrated approaches to address this traffic congestion, what you call mobility constraints in the study area. The study area, we call this area home, a place where we earn a living, a place where we live, a place where we play, a place where we bring our children and grandchildren to learn and play. All 5 of these options I reject. They have a negative impact on East LA. All 5 options, including doing nothing, put our children and seniors, the most vulnerable populations, at risk, to increase cancer, increase risk to development of respiratory illnesses. Additionally, we really don't know how badly that risk is
because Metro did not conduct pollution studies in East Los Angeles. Probably we didn't deserve it or merit it. The light rail alternative creates blight. It dumps brake dust and increased noise in excess of the allowable rate and clearly chip away at our air, polluting our neighborhoods, our parks, our schools. And if that wasn't bad enough, Metro will be taking 155 jobs, not many in your site, but 155 jobs and their families, and rob them from the ability to provide for their children. The bus project will add to the pollution and congestion, and that alternative makes no sense.
Can you please wrap up your comments, please? Thank you.
And if you can adjust the signals, then for God's sakes, just adjust them and put it on the tab. It's what I would call the normal course of doing business. We need different options. Include us in the process, and let's just get started to really look for solutions, for real solutions in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Trinidad Gomez and Richard Petty is next. Are those folks here? Pardon me? Yeah. I don't have that. Are you Richard? Okay, hi Richard. And our next speaker is Sergio Rascon.
My name is Richard Petty, and when it becomes necessary, I represent Native American tribes in litigation against the state of California. As part of
you can actually tip that up. There you go.
As part of this process, the state spent millions of dollars and hired numerous professionals to identify the non-native historical sites impacted by this project. In order to identify the native historical projects which were going to be impacted, they sent a few emails, they sent a couple letters, and when they got responses, they ignored them. This is insufficient under state and federal law. Because of the insufficient process, they have concluded that there are no sacred sites which will be impacted by this project. This is false. The Arroyo Rosa del Castillo begins at the end of the 710 freeway. This is a sacred site which is both religiously and culturally significant to the original inhabitants of this area who have lived here for over 5,000 years and continue to live here today. As part of the final EIR, Caltrans must speak to the tribal representatives and engage in an honest evaluation of the historical sites which will be impacted by this process and start the entire process over. We firmly oppose the tunnel.
Thank you. Sergio Rascon, and then Bertha Castellanos.
Thank you so much. My name is Sergio Rascon, and I'm the business manager of Labor's Local 300 that covers the LA County. And of course, I work for the members that are here today. But I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that we're not just here because, we're a union and we want jobs. As you heard from most of the members, but there's also residents of the areas that are affected. But I want to make sure that, as I said earlier in another hearing, we are not indifferent to the concerns of the public, of the people. Because when jobs come at a price that you got to pay as residents, that's not right. We don't stand for that. We stand for the jobs that are good and that are jobs that have been through the process of the studies and everything that needs to be done in order to take care of the business. Under no circumstances do we ignore the facts and do we ignore anything that could happen within the communities just because we want jobs. Jobs are as important as our lives, but also the lives are more important when it comes to just having the attitude that this is what we want and we don't care what happens to the community. We all have different opinions. We respect your opinions. We stand for your concerns. But on the other hand, it was mentioned here before, we have so much problems out there. And I know that nothing is going to be resolved 100% to the liking of each and every one of us. We know that. We have lived in the communities for many, many years. different communities. And when it comes to the traffic, I can remember where the freeways were empty on Saturdays and Sundays. Today, there's no longer any way of understanding where we are driving because, you know, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but Fridays and Saturdays are the same. So, again, under no circumstances do we ignore the public and the communities of your concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bertha Fastinos, and then Juan Campos. Is Bertha here? Juan Campos? Juan here? Saul Renteria? And Joseph Brown. Saul Renteria, Joseph Brown, Robert Montañez, and Susan Hernandez. Robert? Yes. Oh, okay, great. Thank you. And then Susan Hernandez. Go right ahead, sir.
How you doing? I'm Joseph Brown. I live in Pasadena. I was born in Long Beach, though, and the 710, all the way from Long Beach connects all the way to Pasadena. And when it ends in Alhambra, I'm wondering, where is the rest of the freeway at? How come I can't get all the way from Long Beach to my house? I have a lot of family out there, and the commute, it's good until you get to Alhambra. Connect the freeway. It's gonna alleviate a lot of traffic from the north to the south. I've been hearing a lot of asthma and this, that, and the other. This is 2015. Do you guys know what chemtrails are? It's out there. There's all kinds of ailments in this world, but that has nothing to do with building the freeway. Yeah, it will help me and my family because I'm going to be the one to build it, hopefully, but at the same time, it's going to help people traveling from the north to the south. There's all kinds of people out there on the streets doing, what do you call it? Anyway, when you're driving on the roads, you have to be safe, right? Why not connect the freeway and keep it going? That way people can travel where they're going to safely, quicker, and not have to worry about, you know, getting the middle finger thrown at you. Just expand the freeway. You guys, expand the freeway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your name? I'm sorry.
Robert Montanez.
Thank you. Just a moment.
Did you have a card?
Did you have a card?
Oh, it's not there? I thought you called my name.
No. Let me double check. You're not on not the ones I just called.
Here's a card.
Stand by. Actually, Susan Hernandez is next, and then Gloria Gill. Go right ahead.
My name is Susan Hernandez, and as a business owner, and known as with my family homeowners in East Los Angeles, we are opposed to the light rail. We demand respect to our entire community. Do you not have the right to abolish this community, home, or businesses? This plan will not benefit us and will only contribute to the traffic congestion around our neighborhood and our public health. Thank you.
Thank you. Gloria Gill. Is Gloria here? Monica Lerta. Araceli Lerna. Pascuela Aramillo. Sofia Quiñones. And after Sofia is Victor Duran.
Con el permiso de mis antepasados, yo pido la palabra.
Excuse me.
I am opposed.
Excuse me. Thelma, go ahead. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I thought you were speaking Spanish. Okay.
I'm opposed to. I'm not going to take my time.
Pardon?
Going to restart my time.
No,
Thank
that's
you.
fine. Go right ahead.
I'm opposed to all options. I'm from East Los Angeles. I have a background in Mexican American studies, and I'm very well informed of the atrocities and the civil rights violations that have happened. My family was actually displaced when they built the 60 freeway. But right now, you have neighboring cities fighting because of the congestion. Well, that's due to a lack of oversight and poor planning. And right now we're in a crisis. I believe in the concept of self-sustainability. We do not have the water to sustain further growth, period. If you build this freeway, you're gonna have millions of more cars passing through this area. Millions, generation after generation. After 9/11, they took off the webpage on the CDC, the information on the cancer clusters that were up and down the 710. So no matter what, we are affected by environmental justice. And you're gonna add to more cars because more people will take the East LA interchange to get to the 710. So I live here. And those of you who live outside of this community, we're the ones that are going to inherit the contamination. If you have a problem with congestion, then move closer to your work. And don't put the burden on our children in our community. Second, all the bond money that has been directed, they use our numbers to get these bonds, yet the majority of the money in the bonds and the VLF, which is the vehicle license fee, are stolen from East LA to build projects outside of our neighborhood. So they are stealing millions. And you know what? We inherit that burden. And you know who makes the money? Wall Street, the banks, the interest rate on those bonds. It's about money, and it's about fraud and abuse. Metro has consistently overbid on all its contracts. Everyone. And the goal line extension, it's not going anywhere. I'm asking the federal government to support the issue and the concept of self-sustainability when California cannot sustain the people it has now. Any further growth would just add to global warming. This money needs to go to a state that can sustain population growth. Right now, we cannot do that in California, period. Now,
could you wrap up your comments, please?
The other thing is that I got notice yesterday about this meeting. I think this meeting and the organizers of this meeting did a horrible job by allowing outsiders to speak and pack the meeting and not let residents come in and speak first. I think in the future you have to deal with that and deal with the Wi-Fi connections that we're only a level 3. But I'm opposed to every single one of these proposals. And for the unions, we can redirect that bond money to actually build the infrastructure in our communities and in our streets so that that money stays in East LA and hires those workers and we keep it here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Montañez, if you would mind, Robert Montañez. Is Victor Duran here? Victor? Diana Tarango? She left. I'm sorry, I've got her spoke. Go right ahead, Robert.
Yes, as a resident of East LA, my parents and I resided here since the 20s. And whenever I would say when the freeways were being built back in the 40s and the 50s, after the war, there was a lot of industry going on. Our family was displaced because of the 60 freeway, some of the cemeteries also. We sacrificed our land for the good and the public of this country, the U.S. That's the way we're taught. We must sacrifice our family for wars. We went to wars. My family's been in the last wars for the last, almost 100 years. So they sacrifice their time. Why can't South Pasadena, why can't Alhambra, and all these other cities that are in the way sacrifice for the good and the deed of this country? But why? Maybe they know they have something better. But also, I'd like to inform you that this tunnel should be built because I think it's the best interest of the congestion. And as the best of the public, I mean, best for the people of the United States, it'll deserve a good interest for everybody, congestion, everything. And about 12 years ago, I was up here in Garfield High School, and I related about I was opposed to the train being above ground. And I told them that this train is being built to relieve congestion between here and all that. I told them, well, the 710 should be freeway. It should be finished. Oh, they all walked out on me, and I said, oh, wow. And now here we go again. Put the train above ground. Now we're trying to sacrifice our land for the best of somebody else's interest that doesn't want to sacrifice their land. But I say build the tunnel and get with it. Also, had the Army Corps of Engineers, have they been advised on this issue with the best interest of the vital artery for the best of the Southern California? Because the other day I was going down to the 5 freeway, I saw a large convoy of military vehicles. If something happens, an earthquake or some war starts in our borders, I would say the Army Corps of Engineers should also have their say-so. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to invite Jesse Marquez up.
Hello, buenas tardes. My name is Jesse Marquez. I'm with the Coalition for a Safe Environment. We're an environmental justice organization that reviews all major projects in Los Angeles. And as of today, and doing our preliminary reviews, we oppose all project proposals by Caltrans. None of them have had an adequate review where the public and community-based organizations can submit alternatives to this dilemma that we are facing. But the truth of the matter is that most of the problems we have with congestion are due to freight transportation. 95% of the population that lives south on the 710 have no family and no reason to go to Pasadena. So it's people over there that live north that are taking the jobs down here. Again, this is against East LA and what your dreams are for your community. It'll never get better. Just a few days ago, Caltrans released a report on their website that none of you probably know called a cost-benefit analysis. Well, I glanced at that document. It is a lie and total misrepresentation of the facts. It talks about safety. It talks about deaths and accidents. But here's some of the numbers. They said that they looked at data from California, Minnesota, Ohio, and another state. What does that really mean? It means that they averaged out the data. So there would be a higher fatality death rate on freeways. There would be a higher accident rate if they only did the Long Beach freeway. So they're averaging out data to make it look it's not as bad as it really is. And then they had another table in there that talked about fatalities and accidents. There is no significant decrease in any fatality or any injury as a result of these projects. So nothing gets better. They also put many people don't realize that in government agencies, they put a price tag on our life. So Caltrans says that our life is worth $4.9 million.
Can you wrap up your comments, Jesse, please?
So in conclusion, so you know, the California Air Research Board, our life is $7 million. So again, they're trying to make costs look lower. They're lying and misrepresenting the facts. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just forgot to say that no tunnel because of the earthquake fault line. Bye-bye.
The next speaker is a gentleman, or I'm sorry if I spell this wrong, O-M-E-A-T-C, Ometed Tonatu. Charles Grobler next, and then Daniel Walker. Charles? Is that? Hey, Daniel. Okay, come on up. And then Aurelio Rexus.
Okay. I don't think I'll change any minds here. It sounds like everyone is, it's
will spend a couple hours on a Saturday when it's beautiful out there. Probably hasn't come here to really hear both sides, but I'll just throw my opinion out there as well. I was born and raised in Eagle Rock and lived all my life really in Southern California, in this area. And I commute. My family is in the South Pasadena area in Pasadena. And we commute. I have 2 kids that are 9 years old. They're twins, and I have to take them around. Sometimes we jump on the light rail. We're supporters of that where it makes sense. We use bikes. In fact, tomorrow morning I'll be out with my kids with bikes. So I hear a lot of ideas about, hey, let's do this type of option. Let's do light rail. Let's do bus rapid transit. All these things make sense, but in this corridor, really, if you think about it, only the freeway option really, the tunnel is the only one that's really going to do anything significant for traffic. It's going to take the traffic that's currently on our roads through this part of town. It's going to put it in a tunnel, so there'll be less traffic by and large on most intersections. The data has been studied for decades now, really. So the traffic will get better when the tunnel's built. That means there'll be less pollution, there'll be less sicknesses.
No, let him finish, please.
So I think the studies are pretty clear if people will look at them. I mean, people are going to have different opinions, and no one's going to probably change their mind today. But I think the union guys over here, they deserve to get their opinion there too. There's a lot of unemployment, a lot of poverty as well. So jobs are important as well. But I think the rest of us that live here and need to survive here, I've heard a lot of people say, hey, I'm against everything. So that means really you're for the status quo. So I don't think the freeways and the roads and the pollution, what we have today, is the right answer. I'm not against everything. I think the tunnel is the best option. It's not perfect. Yeah, there's going to be some people that aren't going to be totally satisfied. But I think the tunnel is the way to go. We have the money to build it, and we can even use tolls to help pay for it. So I'm for all for the tunnel, and let's do it right. Let's get the community, let's get the right inputs to make it a good project. Let's get these guys get these guys working, and let's get this thing done. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Aurelio Alexis? Okay, just a moment, and then Maria Ramos. Go right ahead, sir.
Good afternoon. It's a good chance to express our opinions, even those are not the same. That's how we make success. When we have different opinions, we can move forward. I'm sorry, my English is not very well, but I want to do it. We have to learn from our experiences, our mistakes, and it's very important to see back what happened with the Gold Line, the city built on 3rd Street. In my personal opinion, it was a big mistake. People are not using it. I don't know. Just check them out. ELA has already enough. We have enough. I live right here in 3rd and Kern, and I think we have enough. We have the 5, we have the 60, we have the 710. If you check the map, there is something missing in the 710. One part of the freeway 710 is missing. We need to finish it. In that way, we want to connect all the city in this area. If we want to impact our community, we have to do it something right. We don't need to make the same mistake again. In Europe, they are building tunnels under the seas. And we're thinking to build a light rail over here in ELA. We have to move forward. We have to think big. We have to think big. We have to challenge our engineers. All the people who are in the school, we have to put them to think how we can do a big project in this area which is going to impress the world. No impact our health and our poor people who live over here. We have to think big. We have to impress.
Wrap up your comments so you don't mind.
We have to impress the world in the good way. No impact our health and our poor community. We have enough. I support the tunnel. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next speaker is Maria Ramos. Maria is here. And then after that is Rose Barajas. You're Maria?
Hello everyone, my name is Maria and I'm here. Sorry, I'm kind of short. I'm here to speak on behalf of the community. I've heard a lot of people talking about how this project will help the commuters, the people that have cars, but I haven't heard anything about like the people that are low income, like myself. I have 2 jobs. I'm a student, I'm a single mom, and I don't have a car. I rely on public transportation. I had a problem when they took away the 68 because I used to take my kids all the way to Eagle Rock. I rely on public transportation to take my kids to have fun and to explore what's out there. So I'm just here to tell you that do not go with what everyone else tells you to go with. Do your research. Find out what's out there, what will help the community. And yes, we should advocate for the people, for the children, because there's certain projects that can affect our health. And I'm just here to let you know that. Don't go by what somebody else tells you. You need to do your research, and you need to find out what helps the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you. Rose Barajas. Tony Gomez. Is Tony here? And then Joe Hernandez. Joe Hernandez and then Shushan Shang. Please give us your name. Thank you. Oh, you need to speak into the microphone. Microphone?
Microphone check.
There it
check,
is.
1, 2.
It's here on
Okay, are we okay?
There you go.
Right. Hi, my name is Tony Gomez. I actually own SoCal Burgers down the street. I will be affected by the light rail. I'm employed about 10 employees right now. I think it's an injustice what they're doing, putting the light rail there. I think we don't need a light rail. We have too many freeways in East LA. I grew up here all my life. I mean, we do car shows on the street. We have community events and actually on that street. So I'm against it. I mean, I go to Pasadena every other day. My daughter goes to Pasadena. I have to take the surface streets to get there. I mean, I'm against everything, but I mean, if they're gonna finish the freeway, they need to finish it. I mean, why are we taking the burden for something else? I mean, I've been here all my life and they're gonna finish the freeway. I mean, since I was 15 years old, the 710 is gonna get finished. It never gets gonna get finished. I mean, it's an injustice for us. Why are we taking the burden? Buses, this, stoplights. I mean, I'm tired of it. If anybody wants to come to East LA, there's the 5, the 710, the 60, there's all the freeways here you can get. I mean, we're taking the burden. Basically, that's it. I'm against the light rail, and I mean, finish the freeway. Basically, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is Joe here? Joe Hernandez? Great, thanks. And then after Joe is Shushan Shang.
My name is Joe Hernandez, and I'm a resident. And as you get older, you learn things. And with my age, I learned a lot of things. I see a lot of things. And right now, I see the problems that they're having here in Atlantic. I catch the freeway. I spend about 4 hours a day in the freeway. So when I get in the freeway on Atlantic, I spend about a half hour trying to get in there because of the traffic right now. And now they're trying to add more transit out there. And the rail, which I think would cost more congestion than really relieving it. And the thing about it, some of the problems they haven't fixed yet. It just, you know, if you go out there and you constantly see it out there, they haven't fixed the problems that we're having right now, and yet they want to add more. So I think they should fix the problems they have right now, and then concentrate on later on whatever they're going to build. Like I said, I mean, I drive the freeways. I drove on the 710, I drive on the 91, the 57, the 10, the 215, and no matter what they do, it's always the same. It's congested. I mean, no matter where you go, I mean, it's more money spent every day on trying to build, but they never concentrate on what's causing the problems. Like some of the right here in Atlantic, like I said, if they concentrate on the traffic after 10 o'clock, the congestion, it just builds up. I mean, during the lunch hours, if you're in a hurry, you got to go to lunch. I mean, you got to go other places because the traffic just there, it just built up. I mean, it's not been going on for years, and they haven't done anything to release some of that. So I think, I mean, like the tunnel, it's okay. I mean, I'm for the tunnel. And like my wife said, they should spend some money on the air quality for our future, for our kids. I've got cancer. I had open heart surgery. I'm not blaming anybody. We just have to think about our future, our kids. There's asthma, there's all these diseases, but nobody's saying, let's do a study. Why it's happening? Let's do something. Thank you.
Mr. or Ms. Chang, thank you. And then Antonio Gomez. We'll turn the microphone. There you go.
My name is...
It should be on. Yes, go right ahead.
All right. My name is Chusian Chang, and I'm a resident of Alhambra. And I'd like to point out that Alhambra has taken a stand that they will have this 710 extension built no matter at what cost. And they have also assumed that the rest of the residents are also in favor of that, which is not. Unfortunately, Metro also has not done much a great outreach to the residents of Alhambra, which more than 50% are Asians. And I do know that there was one little mailer that had a little Chinese. But other than that, the people, not only the Asians in Alhambra that are not acquainted with a lot of the things that are happening with this extension, but the majority of the people, they don't know about anything about this tunnel that is being proposed. However, the city of Alhambra are very quick to create propagandas, basically. They have entertainment. They just closed the Fremont and Valley last week, and so that the community will be really upset, and then so that they can justify to have this tunnel built. They really didn't even do any light redirection to the people that were waiting for more than half an hour just to pass that intersection. Now, regarding the tunnel, the amount, $5.6 billion, is huge. I mean, I don't know where the money is coming from. The pollution, people have already outlined. I'm not going to go into. Now, another thing that people have been talked very little about, including Alhambra, the city of Alhambra, is that the toll. There might be a toll. Who would like to pay a toll to go to Pasadena? Will the commuters want to pay every day $5, $4, whatever that, just to go to pass that intersection?
Could you wrap up your comments, please?
So, in other words, will be mostly the truckers they'll be using. And again, the area will be congested just as the same. So, I am against the proposal for the tunnel as well as the other proposals on the list. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call up now Antonio Gomez. Is Antonio here? Diana Mahmood. And then Richard Huggleson. Antonio? Okay, thank you. Go right ahead. And then Richard Huggleson next. Thank you.
Hi, My name is Diana Mahmood, and I was born in the city part of East LA before construction of the 4 freeways that run through it. Let's get real. The tunnel will not be built with public money. There's money, $740 million in Measure A already appropriated. The rest is going to have to be financed. Assuming $5 billion in financing, and by the way, the $5.6 billion estimate is a pure fantasy. It's below another project, which I'll speak about soon. You would need 170,000 vehicles daily, paying $5 per toll, which equals $220 a month for commuters, people going back and forth. Would you pay that? I certainly would not. Private financing is necessary, and I think it's very speculative to assume that the private financiers will, in fact, be willing to do this unless the toll is much higher, which will, of course, limit the number of people that can take the tunnel. A tunnel of this size has never been constructed anywhere in the world. This is a very speculative project. The only one that has been attempted in Seattle, they completed 10% of the tunnel length before the tunnel got stuck in December of 2013. It is currently being repaired. There's no contract completion date because the experts that have been hired by Washington State to help the state figure out what to do with this fiasco, they have indicated they cannot establish a contract completion date until the tunnel boring machine successfully is repaired and resumes operation. So who knows when it's going to be able to resume operation. If you want jobs, get behind a project that's real, get behind a project that is unlike tunnel. Go to tunneltalk.com. They're recruiting internationally. Tunneling is an international enterprise, and it recruits workers from all over the world because it's highly specialized.
Could you please wrap up your comments, please?
Thank you very much. I favor transportation alternatives that move people, not cars. We need more alternatives to get people out of cars and other traffic improvements to help cars more efficiently. For further information, please look at beyondthe710.com, and we absolutely welcome community input because we want to serve the community. Thank you very much.
Richard Hegelson. And we're coming down to the last few speaker cards. If there's anyone else who would like to speak, I'd like to encourage you to get a speaker card. So if you would like to do that, please do so. Richard, go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Richard Helgeson. I wanted to talk a little bit about something a number of people talked about here. And it seems like some people feel that building the tunnel will relieve traffic congestion. None of the recent studies that have been done on freeway expansion establish that. And there's a guy sitting in the front row, I know him, Garrett. And that's the guy you're going to be sending your comments to, by the way. He's from Caltrans. Caltrans has read a lot of these studies, and they know about this subject. It's called traffic inducement. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen the Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams, but remember, if you build it, they will come. Well, all of these studies have found that if you build freeways, more people come and get on the freeway. And if you expand freeways or extend freeways, it causes more traffic demand. So what you're going to wind up with out here on the 710, and you heard it here first, if you build this tunnel, you're going to have just as much traffic congestion out here as you had before, only going to probably have more pollution also because you have more vehicles coming through. And Caltrans knows about this, and there's a brief mention that the vehicle miles traveled is going to be greater if there is a tunnel. But it doesn't help congestion. And you can see it in Los Angeles County. If you drove on the 405 10 years ago, now they put 2 more lanes on it now. You go drive on it today, it's just as bad. There's more cars because there's more lanes, but the cars per lane is the same. So you have more vehicles, you have more pollution. I wish the guys from Labor's Local 300 were still here. You know, most of them are very good friends of mine. I used to work for the city of Los Angeles. I wrote contracts. I'm a senior assistant city attorney, retired. And I built the Pier 400. I wrote all the contracts for the Alameda Corridor. I contracts for power plants, and I know what makes jobs. This is not going to create jobs for these guys. We'll create some jobs, but not as many jobs as some of the alternatives, like not this light rail alternative, but maybe extend the Gold Line out to Cal Poly Pomona, or build subways. Am I?
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, I have 3 more speaker cards. I'd like to ask Joe Cano to come up, and then Angelina Sosa.
Okay, Joe Cano, El Sereno. There was a meeting, community meeting held a couple of weeks ago with a panel of specialists from the USC Keck School of Medicine. Now, they took apart the draft DEIR as being inadequate and actually documenting what the actual infirmities that are going to be exacerbated by this project. It's true, like Mr. Helgeson said, you choose the tunnel. It's going to back up, and you're going to have a parking lot sitting right in the middle of East LA. It's going to hurt the community even more. And these alternatives are written by a consultant that will write a draft DEIR the way the boss wants him to write it. All these alternatives are stalking horses to scare everybody away from these alternatives towards the tunnel. Educate yourselves. Get better information. That's the only way you're going to be able to get this whole mobility solution solved. They need to kill this entire draft DEIR process, start fresh, and listen to the community. The community knows what they want.
Thank you. Angelina Sosa. And then Eddie Torres. Angelina?
Hello, my name is Angelina Sosa, and I am a resident of East Los Angeles. I oppose the light rail because it will disfigure the culture of East Los Angeles, and it'll only take us to where we can already go using existing public transportation. I also oppose the bus alternative because it takes away parking from Atlantic Boulevard during peak hours when it is most needed. I strongly support the tunnel alternative because, I mean, you can only see it's the missing piece to the freeway. We need to get it done. You know, I've been living in East LA all my life. And I mean, I travel the 710 freeway. To get home, it is so hard. You know, I could take the streets, but they're congested because of the traffic that the 710 causes us. The 710 tunnel would complete the gap, and it would allow for an easier traffic flow along the streets that surround the 710. So I say I support the 710 tunnel.
Thank you. Eddie, please come up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eddie Torres. I'm with the East Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce. I'm born and raised in East Los Angeles, and these are my comments. The 710 freeway has been on hold for 60 years. The East LA has, along with other communities, have to suffer traffic, congestion, and pollution. It brings emphysema, asthma to every community along the route. I support the tunnel and to close the gap. We already have too many cars on the freeway. We need to have them flow. I think Pasadena and El Sereno deserve to get to and from their destination without any hindrance having to go around other communities. I'm opposed to the tunnel. I support the tunnel because it ends the commute that people have to go back and forth and cause other people traffic. The East LA Chamber of Commerce has been supporting the tunnel for years, and we got blindsided because people from other communities are not all in favor of no tunnel. I've been to Pasadena. They violated a Proposition A. They turned over and did a motion to support no build tunnel because they said it didn't say the word freeway. I've seen people from El Sereno come to committee meetings and say I represent East Los Angeles. The I-710 beyond is actually 3 actual documents that have been rejected in the past. There's a lot of deception going on. There's a lot of propaganda. The East LA Chamber of Commerce put up a flyer, put its name to it, put contacts, put communication areas, a website, email, where we got the information from. We're coming to you, anyone in East LA, we live and breathe the same air. We need that tunnel completed. We need to supply jobs. Pasadena, El Sereno, La Cañada, and San Marino have been getting away with murder for 60 years. They've been making us suck down pollution. They need to share some of the responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So with that, at this time, I've completed all of the speaker cards. We are not closing down. We are going to be here for a while. So we're officially open until 4 p.m. So if you, we do receive additional speaker cards for our public